and we have hope and pray that the light will come soon, so everybody can observe. So today we are going to discuss about self-management, the art of self-management. This is something which is very important in our life to understand, because everybody is thinking. Everybody is comfortable in English here. So everybody wants to improve their life. Everybody wants to have a very good managed life. But then how to do it is a very big question. And that's why how the knowledge can help us to manage our life properly. So let's see that how knowledge can help us to manage our life. So in the self-management, online, those who are online can see this slide. Ayush, can you see this slide? So what is self-management is the very important part to understand. So we are going to see 5 topics on self-management. So first is what is self-management. Then we are going to what is a self-management? Then we are going to see the relevance of a self-management into this scenario. And we are also going to see self-management in Bhagavad Gita. How Bhagavad Gita teaches us self-management. Bhagavad Gita is a book which teaches us everything of our life, all kinds of management, whether it is stress management, time management, self-management, whatever kind of management we have to handle it. The Bhagavad Gita is a book which teaches us this management. Then from self-management, from self-control to self-management is also what we are going to see, and then the practical solution, how we can actually apply this particular knowledge, what we are going to receive. That's what we are going to see. So let's see first. We begin with what is self-management. So many times when it comes to a self-management, अपने आप को manage करना. So the very first thing comes is I need to manage my emotions. Suddenly something happens. For a very simple example, you are driving a car or a bike, you're on the road, and then suddenly somebody is crossing you. The immediate reaction is, you become angry. We are no, our eyes are like directly in touch with eye-to-eye contact. We are angry. Some bad words come out. Some reaction comes. So whenever there is some action, then there is immediately some impulse. There is some reaction to that particular thing. So then, after going through all that, we feel that, no, I need to manage. I need to have self-control. I need to have control over anger. So similarly, there are multiple things. The very first thing comes is emotion, self-management. So, you see this person who is there, who is sitting in a board meeting, and he suddenly appeared, he's the boss of the company, he's the owner of the company, he has come and then he's shouting at, the board members and, CEOs and everyone. He's just not understanding what is he doing. And then everybody is shocked. What has happened? He suddenly appeared and he's shouting. So we also go through this kind of experiences. Suddenly somebody is, erupted with emotion. And because of that emotion, he's yelling at us, shouting at us. And we are confused. Why is he doing? And that person also, after some time, realizes that why did I do this? What kind of mistake I did? So this kind of emotion, which are always dictating us. So we need to ask this question when it comes to self-management. Do your emotions dictate your behavior? So our behavior is important or our emotions are important? That's very important. Like, we are presenting yourself to the world. When you are presenting yourself to the world, we don't always cry, laugh, angry. There are different emotions come out at different times. And then we need to control our emotions. Sometimes we need to present our emotions very properly. So our behavior is very important. It should not be based on emotion. So do your emotions dictate your behavior. So there's a nice story which comes about Socrates. Socrates is a philosopher. He's a very gentleman. He's a very nice philosopher. So one day, regularly he used to have meeting with his friends like this. Everybody is together, and then Socrates used to speak philosophical points, and then he used to give philosophy. They used to enjoy. But then, the wife of Socrates, she's a young, angry, hot-blooded lady, and then she would really get irritated seeing so many people coming and talking, and he's just spending time talking philosophy and reading some books. She used to feel he's useless. He's good for nothing. She used to yell at him, shout at him. So one day, some of his friends they were sitting, and then she started shouting from the kitchen. "Kya kaam kar rahe? Useless hai, this or-" So many things she started saying about to Socrates. And to the friends also. They're also useless, they're sitting here. So after some time, the friends got irritated. And Socrates was really peaceful, he was talking, he was least bothered. He could not hear anything. Nothing was entering his ears. And they were somehow tolerating. Then after some time there was a daily disturbance. And then after seeing that disturbance, like this disturbance, after seeing the disturbance, the Socrates, he said, "Let's go out. Let's go to the garden and we'll talk there." So he went out, and then as soon as he came out, suddenly somebody from the top pour a water on Socrates, the bucket full of water. And then everybody was shocked. They were waiting for Socrates' reaction. What will he react? Imagine ourselves in that situation. Somebody shouting, yelling, speaking bad words. We'll immediately go inside and give some tight slap. But then he was peaceful inside. He went outside and they were waiting. Now, what will be his reaction? And then Socrates was the immediate reaction. The words came out of his mouth. Inside it was thundering. As soon as we came out, it rained. That was the reaction. अंदर जो है thundering हो रहा था, बाहर आने के बाद बारिश गिर गया. So that was the reaction. So we can, if we have self-control, if our life is managed, if our self is managed, then we can have this kind of behavior. Our emotions don't overpower our behavior. So that's very important to understand. And we understand this through the life of Socrates. So he's very peaceful. So the lady you can see, she's having a big two horns. So this is what we are going to see, the self-management. What is self-management? So management is the word. Shantanu is a management student. She must have said this. Management. So we can separate this word with man, age, man, and T. We'll understand what is this exactly word management. Because so many times we try to manage ourselves, and this management is every time a part of our life. Every time we keep on managing. Either we manage people, we manage ourselves, we manage the situations, we manage the scenarios. So what is management? We'll understand that. And this is something which is very important, very vital. Though it is a spiritualist or it is a working person or it is anyone, the management is very important. So the management, the first word is man. So what does that mean? That a man, a human being a manushya, human being, has to manage himself, has to understand what is important for him, what is his duty, what is he supposed to do. When he understands who is he, what is his duty, what is he supposed to do, he can actually live life very nicely. Like a person who is 21-year-old, he knows that I am a grown-up man, I need to earn. For earning, I need to do particular things. I have studied, and then he goes, gives interviews, so many things goes on. So he understands that I need to earn money. If I earn money, I can have nice livelihood, nice life. So he's managing himself. Similarly, being a man, what are those things which I need to manage? Some outside thing we need to manage, and there are some inside things which we need to manage. And that is which is very important. The management, the man within you before managing men. So the management, it is man, age, and men. So there are many men to be managed, like you are a owner of a firm, owner of a company, or like for example, there is somebody who is a leader of Ganpati Mandal, and then he has to manage those people in Ganpati Mandal. So before managing those men, like the leader itself is a drunkard, shouting, yelling, people won't stay there. So before managing men comes managing ourselves. So that's why this word says, manage the man within you. तो आपके अंदर का जो मनुष्य है, the man which is within you need to be managed. So we should learn to manage a man within, and then we can manage many men. In this thing, man and men comes age. Age refers to maturity. The game, like So yeah, so many times people say, "Arey, like in Marathi, sometimes mother when she's angry, "Arey, एवढा मोठा घोडा झालायस." तरी कळत नाही. So with age, it is expected that person develops a maturity. Person is like mature, is growing back. So the maturity comes in different ways. So like there are people who are called as a jnana buddha. Jnana buddha means person who has received so much knowledge that he can give knowledge to others. Though he's young, he's called as a jnana buddha. Or there are people who are just buddha, that they are like 60 years old, but then they behave like a child. Or you ask them something, you speak to them something, you inquire from them something, they don't know, they don't have answer. That is not important. So as the age is growing, as we are growing in the age, the maturity should also develop. So the first we know ourselves, then we develop the maturity, and then we can handle the situation. That is what the management is. Let's say there are many ideal self-manager, and how do a self-manager react? How do a self-manager act? So self-manager is a person. He is the one who wants to share the success with his people. There are people who really want to share the success with their own people. And for these all ideal qualities, Shivaji Maharaj is the best example. He would always share his success with people. He would not, he was not like a Badshah who is, sitting in Janan Khana or is sitting drinking or doing something. And he's just enjoying. He was not the one who is like always respecting or demanding respect. He was always a person who used to be with his people. And that's why he was called as Janta Raja. So a leader who is a self-manager, who has managed himself, he shares the success with his people, values the contribution of every individual member of the team. And he will value every individual member of the team. He would not just say that somebody who's like there are bosses, they like 1-2 people and they will always glorify those people, and the rest of the team go to hell. They don't care. But then a leader or a person who is self-managed, who is really self-controlled, is not like that. He'll always appreciate every individual and every individual's contribution. Feels that he needs them and they need him. And when he's valuing that, he's genuine about it. The Hृदय से दिल से वो कहता है, yes, I need you. And then they also feel, yes, we also need him. And then does not desire to grab credit all alone. So there are people, who are just behind, I am the doer. This is all done by me. No, that's not the fact. He is the one, he shares with everyone. He gives credit to others. He does not think that I have on the credit, or he does not grab, he's not behind the grabbing the credit. And then you see in modern society, all the leaders in the society, what is this? All big billboards coming, that this person has built this road, this person has done this particular. So many billboards all over Pune, you'll see, especially now municipality elections are coming. So many billboards indicating, dictating, shouting, yelling that we are the one who are doing the best in the society. And they are always grabbing the credits. But then a self-manager is not like that. And that's why a gentleman is a person who is not behind grabbing the credits. He is behind appreciating, involving, and giving credit to others. He is the person who can put aside his false ego. This is something which is very, very important. Like, there is ego, which is ego is always there. Everybody is having an ego. Small things ego. But there is a self-manager who knows what is right, what is wrong. He knows, when to react, when not to react. He does not, he's not pump up with ego, and then he keeps his ego aside. You first, me later. And that's how he is always acting. Next, can treat his people as a humans and not machines. This is something which is very important to understand. Being a leader, being a manager, being a father, being a husband, you have to manage your family, you have to manage your children, you have to manage everyone. Or being an elder brother, or being a family member, or being with a friend, being with a group, we have to manage. So when we are managing, the very important thing is that he treats people as humans and not machines. There's an English saying that one should love people and use things. You must have heard this. So that was a scenario 50 years before, that people would interact with each other, they used to know each other, they used to love each other. Nowadays, you go to society and ask, this dot person, where does he stay? That they don't know, and he's just next door, but they don't know who is that person. But in olden times, you go, they used to share food, they used to share clothes, they used to share money, they used to share so many things, and they used to love people. And when it's to come using things, they're using things. Like, take example, and when it comes to using some instrument, or when it used to come to bike or bicycle, they used to use. But now the thing is exactly opposite. People love things and use people. What do they love things and use humans? That is what is happening. Like, but especially this is the most favorite thing. They love it so much. And then a person who gave this particular thing to you as a gift, as whatever reward, we use him. Like there are people sitting in a family, there are 5, 6 people who are sitting in a family, everybody is absorbed in mobile. And when it comes to sharing their emotions, understanding their need, and looking for forward to have some good relationship, they are not for it. So people are loving things and using people, but that's not the right thing. We should love people and use things. Instruments are to be used, and we use it, and we love people. That's very important, and that's why a self-manager knows this particular quality, and that's why he treats his people as a humans and not machines. So machines need to be treated as machine, and humans need to be treated as humans. He has controlled his own mind and senses. So he is a person who has controlled his own mind and senses. He can celebrate diversity of his teammates. So, when it comes to self-management, it's very important that we have to have control over mind and senses, because senses are something which is always demanding something. I always give this example. Like, mind has 2 kinds of habit. It decides something and it rejects that particular thing. In Sanskrit, it's called as sankalpa and vikalpa. The mind always does this. So I always give the example. Like, you have a high fever. And then when you have a high fever, doctor has advised you not to eat anything oily. And then you come out of doctor, he is giving a prescription, you go to a medical shop or a medicine, you come out of with the medicine, and then you walk on the street, and then on the left side, after 2 shops, there is Yoshi Vada. And then there is nice fragrance coming out of Vada. And then your mind is telling, hey, have some Vada. No, doctor has told me not to, intelligence is telling. And then suddenly, he said, just 2. So, or and then you go, you buy ice cream, vada pav, you eat those vada pav, go to home, take medicine and sleep. Instead of reducing the fever increases the more. And then next day morning you get up and you are irritated, you are disturbed, you are angry on yourself and saying, you say that, "Arey, bola tha na doctor ne, you cheater, why did you eat this? You should have not eaten." So the same mind is telling you, eat, and same mind is telling you not to eat. So this mind is the biggest enemy of our life. And then we keep on feeding this mind. As soon as mind says, chalo movie, let's go to the movie. Chalo, we'll have some fun, drink something, do whatever kind of enjoyment with the senses, we are immediately ready for it. So that's why control over the mind and senses is the best quality of a self-manager. The self-manager is the one who controls it. He can tolerate diversity of his teammates. There are so many diverse people. Like, Bharat is a desh, Bharat is a country, which is full of diverse people. Some are white, some are black, some are, speaks Hindi, Tamil, Telugu, Kannada, different culture, different eating style. Like, there are North Indians who don't eat rice, and then you cross Maharashtra and they don't eat only rice. So much diversity. And when it comes to a diversity, the managers, one is a self-manager who is self-control, who has control over his mind and senses, can actually manage the situation. Self-manager can overlook the deficiencies and empower with the strength, capable of involving everyone in achieving the final goal. So, when you look at this slide, you feel, yes, I want to have all this in me. So we should actually endeavor for this. And the very primemost thing for this is to control our mind and senses. And to have a control over mind and senses, we need to take shelter of scriptures. We need to gain knowledge from our Vedic scriptures. Our Vedic scriptures will surely help us to gain this knowledge. So you see these people on the top. The first one is Mafatlar Industries owner. There is Rishikesh Mafatlar. The next one is MD Desai. Desai Industries are very famous. Like you see this Nirma powder, the owner of that. And then you see the first picture is Alfred Ford, the owner of the Ford company, the very famous motors Ford. And okay, I don't remember the second one. So these are the people who are also devoted very much to practicing spiritual life, and at the same time they are very disciplined. Like I have seen Rishikesh Mukherjee. He when he's in the temple, when he's with the devotees, even with his driver, I have seen him dancing. So somebody who is such a big owner goes to a party and calls his driver and dances. Is that possible in current scenario? Nahi hoga. People will never do that. They feel insult. But then he knows where I'm at. I'm at the place of God. So at the place of God, what am I supposed to do? I should behave equally. So he's equipoised, he's equal to everyone. And then he's dancing, he's talking, he's chatting, he's sitting and eating with his own driver. So these are the self-managers who are really handling the situation. So the next slide talks about the self-management situation in our everyday life. So this is something which comes in everyday life. This is when you are dealing with your friends. This is when you are dealing with your parents. This is when you are dealing with your colleagues. We see this kind of thing. The first thing is, somebody goes against your opinion. If somebody goes against your opinion, then what happens? Someone does not agree with your views and oppose or criticizes. Somebody is not agreeing with your views. There are so many situations which comes when you are with friends. What happens? That we being with the friends, we don't agree. Or, they don't agree with us, especially if somebody is not agreeing with our views, because our ego is the biggest thing in this world. And there is a my view is right. Like there's this English saying, my way is highway. My way is highway. It is anything. It is considered the highway. Similarly, my opinion is the best opinion in this whole universe, in this whole creation. And that's why he thinks that someone who does not agree with your views and opposes the criticizers, his situation is like this. Who are you? Who is telling me? So everyday life, this kind of movement comes in our life. And that's why it's very important to understand. My opinions are not the best opinion. I have to consider which is the best opinion. And the best opinions comes from the experienced, mature people. Best opinion comes from those who have a proper knowledge and not from our own opinion. So self-manager, we all are here to learn who is self-manager. The self-manager gives opinion to our elders. Self-manager gives opinion to scriptures. Importance to the opinions of the scriptures. Then second is the broken promises. Oh, this happens very regularly. There are so many promises which are broken. Like some of the students like you, they promised, let's say we are coming here, and then we are going to attend this session. But then somehow because of whatever reason they could not come. And then sitting here, I would have said, oh, they have broken my promise. They did not keep my promise. So what should my reaction? No, I should be happy that they are here. Some of them are here, and I should be teaching them happily. I should not be crying, that I should not be worried. I should not be in anxiety that they have broken my promise. So similarly, in our life also, there will be so many people who will break our promises. And every day-to-day life also, we find somebody is breaking our promises. Okay, who are you? Your promise is so important. We have broken the promise with God. We have broken promises with our elders, parents. What about that? So the self-manager is not agitated with this situation. Self-manager in day-to-day life, he knows someone who did not keep my promise, how to handle that. So he's just because they could not keep the promise, he's in anxiety. He's stressed. She's scratching her head, and he's really awestruck. Then cheating. Somebody cheated you with respect to money, supply, goods, quality, and so like the Srila Prabhupada used to say that this world is full of cheaters and cheated. In this whole world, you will always find people who will either cheat you or people who are getting cheated. These kind of situations we'll always see in our life also. Sometimes we also cheat or we got cheated. You just reflect. This cheating thing is always going on in this world, and that's why Kali Yuga is called as a hypocrite. People of hypocrite, or the place of hypocrisy, where every time the hypocrisy is at peak, but people are always cheating. So when you get cheated, what is your reaction? That is something which is very important. So self-management comes there when you get cheated. So three things we saw: when somebody is acting against your opinion or speaking against your opinion, self-manager is not very agitated. When the promises are broken, he is not an anxiety disturbed. When the cheating happens, he is not immediate the reaction. You teach for that. तूने मुझे फंसाया मैं तुमको फंसाऊं. No. He is not running behind it. He's he will take right decisions, right things, and he'll move ahead. About your did not bother about your convenience, needs, or a problem. Like there are people like you're staying in a room with the 4 people, and then suddenly somebody comes, you're sleeping, and somebody comes and you switch on the lights, switch on the music, and he's talking about the phone, he's dancing, and when this is happening, you will say, "Hey, what is this? He's not bothered about my presence here. He's not bothered about what am I doing, who am I? How can he behave like this with me?" But that self-manager is not again disturbed, or he's not going to catch his throat, catch him, give some punch. You're not bothered about me? No, he's not like that. And the fifth, in our day-to-day life, the expectation and fulfillment. Like everybody has an expectation in life, but then not every expectation can be fulfilled. Like it is said that you cannot satisfy everyone. It's just not possible to satisfy. Being a human being, being a limited capacity, you cannot satisfy everyone. Similarly, not all the expectations are fulfilled. So when expectations are not fulfilled, that person is, he knows, okay, fine, I will try again. I will not run behind it. I will not, cry for it. Like there's an example which comes about Chataka bird. Chataka bird is a bird who drinks only rainwater. Varsha Ritu ka jo pani hota hai, that only he drinks. He does not drink any other normal water all throughout the year. So the Chatak bird in a hot summer season, he's thirsty, and then he sees there are some water drops. There's some water which is falling for him. So he thinks that it's a rain, let's run. And then he runs, and he reaches to that point and he finds, oh, there is no water. It was just a mirage, Mrugajad. And then he is really tired. So his expectation is not fulfilled. So when his expectation is not fulfilled, he is miserable. Because after running, he is more thirsty, so he is more miserable. So like this in life, expectations are there. If they are not unfulfilled, if the expectations are unfulfilled, then how should we react? That's a very important thing. And that's what a self-manager understands. So in our daily situations, we see a self-manager. There is a self-management which comes in our daily situation. So we are going to see that the relevance of a self-management to the modern youth. In the modern time, there is an excessive competitive drive. There is so many competitions. It's called as a rat race. And in that competition, how many bhana hai, we have to go ahead. Though it is first standard to 10th standard, and then 10th standard people are like desperate to come in merit, and then they go to 12th standard, and then there's CET, and then there is varieties of entrance exams, IIT, JEE, or whatever. And then you complete your graduation, then you go for a job, and then after job there are competitive exams. So many things which are happening, and then this is just rat race. So what is happening in the modern life is there's excessive competitive drive and urgency addiction. So when there is excessive competition, there is urgency. Everybody is in urgency immediately. And that's why there is this world, this time is called as a fast food ka jamana. They immediately fast, everything fast they want. Like because they want fast. Like when I talk to people, I ask them that, why don't you come to temple? Why don't you come and attend such sessions? They said, "Hamare paas time nahi hai." Now, if you see the situation of this world, people just because they want to have more time or they want to make things easy, they have developed so many machineries. In old time, like you go just 100 years before, from traveling from one village to another village, people used to walk, or they used to at max use bullock cart, or somebody like king would use rath of the horse. They used to ride on a horse or something like that. But now we have trains and flights and bike and the whatnot, the cars, all those facilities. Like people older time they used to wash clothes with water and soap, and then they used to put it on stone. All hard work they used to do. Now there is washing machine. You just put some liquid, and then press the button. Machine is going on. Things are happening. When they used to make some paste, they used to get atta ka chakki tha. And with that atta chakki they used to do. Like they used to sit for 2 hours in. Now there is a ready-made atta which comes to your place. So when you have ready-made atta, when you have sabjis and everything, when you have mixers and when you have washing machine and when you have cars and so many other facilities. When all these things are happening, still you say, I don't have time. You don't have to wash clothes. You don't have to, do a ragada and do a chata chapki. But still people say, I don't have time. Why? You are in urgency, you are in competition, you are running behind something which is not right. Like the Chataka bird is running behind that water, which is Mrugaja, which is Miraj. Similarly, we are also running in this competition, thinking that this competition is going to give me pleasure. And this is the reality of the modern time. So we have to understand that where are we doing? Another big challenge of a modern life is wrong definition of success. This is a wrong definition of success. There are people who are successful. There are so many people you see, they are working corporates, and when they are working corporates, they are earning in lakhs. But when they come back home, they are full of stress. When they're sitting in a company, they're full of stress because they have to. There are deadlines. You have to complete that particular time. There are competitions. There are challenges. You know that the particular team member will do better than me, and then he's always in stress. How to handle? How should I go ahead? Apart from that particular stress, there's a relationship problem, and then there's financial problem, and there's so many loans and burdens. So this modern youth at this time is full of stress, and that's why they have to go for stress management. How to release stress? And then some people come and they say that you take inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, and they think that abhi stress chala jayega. No, stress won't go away like that. You have to manage yourself. If you manage yourself, the stress will be handled, failures will be handled. There's an English saying that a failure is a stepping stone to success. You must have heard. So, जो कोई व्यक्ति fail होता है, so that is a stepping stone. You can step over it and move ahead towards the success. But unfortunately, when the failure comes, what is the next reaction? Suicide. People when they fail, they want to commit suicide. They want to kill themselves, or they want to kill someone else, or they want to do something which is really devastating, which is really wrong. So this is a wrong definition of success. Where are we going, and where are we leading our life? So in this person is stressed, he's angry, agitated. So though he's a corporate guy, going with a tie and stuff, but his life is miserable. So inferiority complex and depression which comes into life, and then there's interpersonal ego clashes. That's also a challenge. There are so many ego clashes every moment, everywhere there is ego clashes. And the next is very interesting. What do you understand by this? You understand something by this? Lust or something else? Can you see in this picture? They are catching hold of different senses. So the modern youth at this current time, senses are not in control. So senses, in Sanskrit it's called the Jnanendriya. Jnanendriya means Jnana and Indriya are the two different words. That means knowledge acquiring senses. In English it is called the knowledge. तो जिससे हम ज्ञान प्राप्त कर सकते हैं. So that is knowledge acquiring senses. So instead of acquiring knowledge, what are the senses doing? Ear wants to hear, some nice Bollywood song, and whatever, Tollywood or Hollywood, whatever. So ear is dragging you at one place, and the nose is wanting to smell something. So previously, people used to smell mogra and zaizu. Now they want to smell, some deodorant and whatever perfumes and this and that. And then the tongue wants to eat something. Is dragging you towards veg, non-veg, pure, this, that. So many. Just like 50 years before, hardly there were any hotels, and now hardly there is anyone who eats in home. Every day they're out because tongue is cooling them. Or the eyes wants to see something which is nasty, dirty, or which is vulnerable. So eyes are also dragging you somewhere else, and the skin is also dragging you towards something else. So you see, these five senses, instead of acquiring knowledge, they are Jnanendriya. What are they doing? They are trying to experience something in the world. And this is becoming the biggest problem of their life. And that's why these uncontrolled desires are coming in the life of a person. Like, these eyes act like a camera. You are walking on the street, and then you see a billboard. There's some advertisement of a scooter, and then you go ahead, and then there's a bank advertisement, and then a rice advertisement, and then you go ahead, and then there is, advertisement of somebody who's a Bollywood star. He's wearing some nice t-shirts and jeans, and then somebody's telling you, yeah, this is the best home for you to live in this. Nowhere in the world you'll find such a best home. There is no concept called best home, but then people advertise like that. So after seeing all that, our eyes are capturing, and then our mind is telling, yes, you want to achieve that. And then when you are running behind achieving those things, we are not stable. We are not self-managed, and there are uncontrolled desires coming in our life. It is said that there are at least 7,200 desires pass through our mind in 24 hours. And some book, on some we meditate, on some we are always focused, and those desires will get fulfilled. And for fulfilling those desires, person will endeavor, and that's why person will always remain miserable. So that's why being a self-manager, it's very important to choose our desires rightly. If our desires are wrong, if our choices are wrong, we are going to be miserable. And when we are in misery, how do we react is spoken here. So choose your behavior. So there's a stimulus, there's a reactive behavior, and there's a proactive behavior. So we are going to see what is reactive and proactive with us. Before that, let's see what Chanakya Pandit says about a leader. A leader who desires long enduring success must shun the following 8 activities. So, being a self manager, which 8 activities we should say no to? Which 8 activities we should shut down? We should say enough. This is what is spoken here. So, one is lusting after a woman. So, this is something which is really driving a man, because a man is always behind a woman. And they're thinking that this woman will give me pleasure, and that's why they're always lusty, calm, and they're running behind. That's very important. Second is losing control due to anger. Anger is something which is always an enemy. Unhealthy comparison. There are so many people, who keep on comparing, and then there is no reason for comparison. Keep on comparing with others. So unhealthy comparison. Comparison is okay when it comes to, like I always tell, when it comes to practicing a spiritual life, we can compare with those who are above us. Because those who are above us, we can see them. Yes, I want to become like this. But unfortunately, what are we doing? We are comparing in opposite way. When it comes to earning money, we say, "Ha, hum money ko dekhna hai." And then you're comparing yourself with Ambani. You are sitting here, on a two-wheeler, and you're thinking that I should have a Mercedes. I should have 100 Mercedes. And you're comparing with Ambani. When you're comparing with Ambani, you will always desire to become like Ambani. And when you're during that desire to become Ambani, we endeavor a lot. And if the endeavors are not fulfilled, if our desires are not fulfilled, a person is utterly miserable. It's not wrong to be ambitious, but then our ambitions need to be checked. Need to be find out what is right, what is wrong. So unhealthy comparison will lead to misery. Greed, everybody is greedy. You find like it is said that if you put a bora, if you put a packet of grains on the street, birds will come. Oh, chimney aega, kawa aega. They'll take their quota, they'll eat, and they'll fly. They'll go. The cow will come, she'll eat her quota and go. When a human being comes in, what will he do? He'll take the whole bora, put it on his bag, and go. So animals are teaching me the best lesson. Jitna see, utna le lo, and then move ahead. But then human being is not like that. He's greedy. He will immediately take that particular thing and run away. So the greed is something which is also which we should shut down. We should not say. We should say no to it. Craving for gratifying tongue. Tongue is very dangerous. Then caring for personal beautification. What has given this particular body? If somebody is black, he wants to become white. Somebody is white, he wants to become black. This is such a contrast nature. There are those are white in the foreign countries. They go and sit in hot sun because they want to have tanning. They want to make their body little black. And those black who are born in India, they want to become white or other black, whatever. So unfortunately, the personal beautification becomes the most important thing. Nowadays, it was a very shocking for me when one boy came to me and said that Toshi, aaj isne facial kiya hai. So what is facial? That was my question first of all. Kya hota hai facial? And then they told me that they have to go to a what is that? Salon, and then they have to apply something and do all those things. So person is behind his own beautification. I have heard that ladies used to do this, but nowadays even men do this. So that was a shock for me. So personal beautification is also not something which is important. Moving in fair for entertainment. So just having time to enjoy and for entertainment really. Excessive sleeping, indulging in sport, TV, and such as entertainment excessively. So excessive things about this thing is not good. So whatever is required, excessive sleep is wrong. Excessive watching TV movie nowadays, this particular favorite friend of ours, the excess use of this drags us to anything anywhere. Like there are people who just scroll. I was just one day I just thought, how people are absorbed in social media. Let's observe. So I was in the market and walking on the street, and there were fruit vendors and there's vegetable vendors and so many shopkeepers. Because customer was not there, so they were all the time on their screen. And that was not the situation 10 years before of the Marwadis or of the business class people. They would always be focused. How can I gain the customer? That was the problem. But now, how can I gain some enjoyment through this scrolling? And this scrolling, lakhs of videos, lakhs of views, and lakhs of illusions being scrolled every moment. And that's something which is wrong. Okay. So this proactive and reactive behavior, what we were talking about, the behavior. So reactive behavior means outside in. The person, he's there's a situation, where the boss is not happy. If in his reactive behavior, he say, if only I had a boss who wasn't such a dictator. If boss is generally a dictator. So his reaction is what? Why should I have, why am I having this particular boss? Or, if I could just have one more time to myself. Like, suppose student is going and giving exam, and after coming from exam, he says, out of syllabus tha. That is the reaction. Or, he's crying himself and saying, "Arey, thoda aur time milta." So every moment we always, reactive behavior is what? But और थोड़ा time देना चाहिए था ना? They should have given some more time to me. Or if only I had more cooperative team members. मेरे आजू बाजू के जो सब लोग हैं, my family members, my friends, my all team members should be cooperating with me. They should be cooperative. So this is a reactive behavior. But the proactive behavior is very nice. It is inside out. Whatever is inside is seen outside. जो अंदर है वो बाहर है. So it said, if I can be more diligent and creative to meet with the needs of my boss. He's saying when the boss is not really right, he's like, oh, okay, I'll be more diligent and creative so that my boss is happy. In the reactive behavior, he's saying that boss is my dictator. I don't want such a boss. If I can be more planned in spending my time. The proactive person he's not there, मुझे time कम दिया. He's like, I should be more active. I should be more well managed. Like if I can be more patient and respectful to my team members to get their cooperation. So, team members are there, but I should act on myself. So that is a self-manager. So, so Bhagavad Gita is a book, as I said, it teaches us about everything. So we are going to study from Bhagavad Gita, all these coming sessions. And in that session, we are going to see that Bhagavad Gita is something which is very important. So there is a shloka which comes in Bhagavad Gita. Anudvega karam vakyam, please recite behind me. Anudvega karam vakyam.
Anudvega karam vakyam.
Satyam priyam hitam chaya.
Satyam priyam hitam chaya.
Swadhyaya abhyasanam chaiva.
Swadhyaya abhyasanam chaiva.
Vanmayam tapa uchyate.
Paramayam tapa uchyate.
Translation: austerity of speech consists in speaking words that are truthful, pleasing, beneficial, and not agitating to others. Also, in regularly reacting, reciting Vedic literatures. So, this particular sloka was Anudvega Karam Vakyam. Our Vakyam, Anudvega Karam Vakyam, our speech or Vakyam is very, so how it should be pleasing, beneficial, not agitating to others, and truthful. Sometimes if the thing is truthful, like there is a, Chanakya Pandit says that Satyam Gruyat, Priyam Gruyat. That whenever you have to speak truth, yes, you must say the truth, but it should be in a pleasing way. Like, so there are Satyavadi, when Satyavadis come ahead and then हमारी मांगे पूरी करो, हम सच बोल रहे हैं, हम सच का साथ देंगे, and all those नाराबाजी, all those things. No, that is not the way. You speak the truth firmly, but then pleasing. That's very important. So truthful, pleasing, beneficial, and not agitating to others. Whenever we are speaking truth, it should not be agitating to others. So Krishna is telling to Arjuna this particular thing. So this is the austerity of speech. So when you say that, we need to control, so this control is very important. So Bhagavad Gita teaches us that how we should be self-managed. So through this, Bhagavad Gita is telling how our words should be well managed. Bhagavad Gita also teaches us how our life also should be well managed. We are going to see in the future slide about that. So from self-control to self-management. So before self-management comes self-control. So this is something which is very, very important for us to understand. Unless and until we have control over self, we cannot manage our life. So to learn to restrain in all these situations is called as a self-control. Like there is an example of a singer, or there is an example of a typhoid patient or a pilot. They have some restrictions. Like those they have to follow them. Like a singer, just before a singing competition, he is saying that I want to eat ice cream and get some cornetto, chocolate, whatever, butterscotch, that variety of thing. And he gets the ice cream and then he drinks cold water and then he's going for a competition. What will happen? Instead of a sweet voice like a cuckoo, the crow voice will come out. So the singer avoids. So he's controlling. He knows if I control, I'm going to get good success. Similarly, in our life also, if we really need success, we need to have self-control. If a typhoid patient avoid oily food, he's going to be peaceful. And a pilot, they're trying to find out in the recent Ahmedabad accident. What was the result? Whether the pilot was wrong, or there's a fault in the machinery. What was the problem? And if the pilot is, if he's sitting in the aeroplane and he's saying that, I drink some alcohol and then drink. No, sir, you cannot. You're not allowed to. So self-control is very, very important. Like those people who do gyms, or those people who do, especially boxers and athletes, they are asked to control over their senses. The boxers are not supposed to have any sex before 1 year of boxing competition. That is a restriction put for them, and then only they can move ahead. So self-control is very much required for every aspect of our success, and that's why control over the self is more important. And then comes self-management. So there is a example. There is this Sharu Ravnikar. He is a famous management consultant. He says, anyone who can shake his head from left to right can reduce his weight. So he says this particularly. So what does that mean? That if you take a positive action, you take a positive step, then the things will happen. So when it comes to self-management, yes, you control yourself. Take a positive step, things will happen. If you don't take, there are people who always say that I need to reduce my weight. And then what do? They sit in the home, they don't move around, they don't walk, they don't control eating, they don't control themselves. And the things go on. So he said, at least take some action, move your head from right to left, your weight will reduce. So that's something which is very important. Uncontrolled senses pull us in a different directions and limit us. So because of these uncontrolled senses, the life is always haphazard. It's not well managed. So this is particular example we see. So there are 5 horses. These 5 horses represent our 5 senses. These horses are tied up with the ropes. That rope is covered as our mind. The person who is holding a rope is a chariot driver. Is a driver. That is our intelligence. And the passenger who's sitting, you see this passenger is really in anxiety. He's thinking that I'll die sometime. He's frustrated, he's angry, he's agitated, so many things. You see all emotions in him. Why? Because the chariot driver is not full of strength. And the whole control goes to the reins of the chariot, that is the ropes of the chariot and the senses. So these 5 senses are taking your life in any direction because the ropes are not in control. So that's why this intelligence is very important. That means the person need to be self-managed. He needs to be self-controlled. Then only it is possible. So when it comes to self-control, there are 6 urges. Urge to speak, that in our vacha, our speaking urge is very much important to control. And then second is the mind's demand. The mind is always disturbed. The mind has to be controlled. Third is anger, or anger has to be controlled. Fourth is tongue, our tongue need to be controlled. So urges in Sanskrit is called the vegam. Something which is vega. Veg means big one. It's fast. So when something which is very fast, controlling that is very difficult. But when you control, when you stop it, when you slow down and control it properly, it is very good. So similarly, the six are urges or six vegas need to be controlled. And then urge of belly and urge of janitor. So these six urges are need to be controlled. So you see these monkeys, they are helping each other to control their urges. So when it comes to controlling the urges, the mind's demand is something very important, and we need to make this mind from friend to enemy. Sorry, enemy to friend. So we have to find out whether my mind is my friend or my enemy. So how do you understand? Mind is telling you, let's go to for a picnic. He's my friend, I'll follow him. Let's go for a picnic. The mind is telling that let's sleep whole day. क्या करना है? Job, गया, तेल लगाने, whatever. So, and then you follow. So he's not your friend, sir. He's your enemy. And this mind is always telling us, क्यों जाना है? क्यों सुनना है? क्या करना है? No. We should not be doing this. The mind is a friend when it is under the control of our intelligence. So it is very, very important to have control of our intelligence over the mind. And that's why we should study things very nicely. It's very important. So you see the result of uncontrolled mind. This is terrorist, uncontrolled mind. There is somebody who's writing, I'm sorry, I'm going to die, he's committing suicide, or there is devastation. There's so many situations. So these are the results of our uncontrolled mind. Uncontrolled mind is going to just be devastated. So practical solutions to becoming an ideal self-manager. One is to control the mind and senses, work-life balance and the regulation in habits, and C is a mantra meditation for managing the mind. We are going to see this. Controlled mind. So controlling the mind is thinking, behavior, and attitude has to be controlled. It is very important. Change your three things to create a better future of life. That is thinking, behavior, and attitude. Change of attitude by accepting responsibility. I am responsible for the habits I have picked up. I will not blame others. I will not blame the situation. So attitude, this is a change of attitude. Many times what we do, whenever something wrong happens, so हमारा भारत देश ऐसा ही है. Whenever something wrong happened, the Pune is like this only, the climate is like this only. There are so many things. We keep on blaming the situations around us. I have this, I always follow this particular. You cannot change situations around you. What you need to change is yourself. We can just change ourselves. We cannot change our situation. So what a person will immediately, what is his immediate reaction who is not self-controlled, self-manager? He will not change his attitude. He'll blame situations or he'll blame others. So that's not the right. So change in attitude is we don't blame others and blame the situations. We take the responsibility of all the things we have picked up, good habits and bad habits. Yes, I am responsible for that. And then I will correct myself. Change your behavior. That was about attitude. Now behavior. Change your behavior from discrimination to no, innate versus accurate habits, determination, willpower to say no to acquired, discipline, practice to get willpower. So we have to have discipline, determination, and discretion. So these Ds are very important in behavior. Discrimination, which is very important. Discrimination from good and bad is very important. Determination to follow good, because following bad is very easy. तो यहाँ गलती करना, गलत follow करना बहुत आसान है. You don't need determination for that. So determination. First we have discriminated. This is good. This is bad. After that, I will choose good and be determined to follow that particular good. That is very important. And third, to follow that good, to be determined, discipline is very important. So for discipline, then if the discipline is there, then only we can move ahead. So these are the steps towards changing a behavior. First, unconscious incompetent, conscious incompetent, conscious competent, unconscious competent, and then you are successful. We're not getting much into it because time is short. This is something which I wanted to also focus on. Work-life balance and the regulation in habits. So these are the 4 quadrants of our life. Our life has these 4 important aspects. What are those? The 4 important aspects is intelligent quotient, that is IQ. Then there is a quotient, emotional quotient, that is EQ. Physical quotient, PQ, and spiritual quotient, SQ. So if you see the previous slide, we have focused on 3 things. That is attitude, behavior, and thinking, attitude, and behavior. So this particular slide of 4 quadrants is very important in this aspect. So when you want to change your behavior, when you want to change your attitude, you need to understand who are we, what are the important factors of our life, what is the need of our life. So these are the 4 quadrants which are the need of our life. So in many times people, those are intellectual, those are studious, they are students, they really want to achieve something. They'll just focus on IQ, intelligence. No, I'll just study. I don't care for mother, father, sister, anyone. I don't care for them. Or there are people who are very emotional. They just want family. They just want friends, and they just focus on EQ. Yes, what is he doing? He's with friends. What is he doing? He's partying. What is he doing? He's talking to somebody over the phone. So he's just trying to fulfill his emotional quotient. Or there are people who are like they want to make nice body. They really want to achieve something. So they are always exerting, doing some exercise. So they are developing their physical quotient, running this, that. So their whole focus is what time I should eat, what, this, that. Their focus is just PQ. And there is hardly somebody who is following this fourth quotient, that is SQ. So this whole thing need to be balanced. That is very important. If somebody has a balance of all these 4 things, he is having a very good attitude, he has a really good thinking, he has a good behavior. Basically, he is a self-manager. So when it comes to a self-management, balancing all these 4 is very important. So when it comes to balance, for somebody may say that 25% IQ, 25% EQ, 25% SQ, 25% PQ. No. It is not 25, 25, 25. We need to give accurate time, accurate percentage, accurate requirement, accurate need we have to understand, and accordingly we should go ahead. So we'll see some of these quotients. There is a physical quotient. Regulate your eating, avoid starchy, oily food, eat sattvic food, milk products, seasonal food, sprouts, especially no junk food like this. So we should eat proper quantity. It should not overeat, fill the stomach. So the proper quantity of food is how much we should know. So when it comes to physical quotient, what we eat is very important. How much we sleep is very important. How much time exercise we do, that is very important. This is all very important. So when it comes to eating, food is 50%, what we eat, then water is 25%, and air is 25%. The whole digestive system needs it. At 25% जो पानी के लिए 25% हवा के लिए रखना पड़ता है. Then only the whole food will get digested. But then if you like something and then you are eating pizza and pasta and then paneer and pav bhaji and so many things, then we feel 100% food. And there is no space for water and air. How will it get digested? It's not possible. So this physical quotient involves exercise, which removes the toxin due to adrenaline, then keeps you fresh, fit and healthy. It needs relaxation. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, very nice verse. He says, Yukta hara viharasya, yukta karmasya shreshtasya, yukta swapnava bodhasya, yogo bhavati dukkha. He says, if you really want to come out of dukkha, misery, the 4 things which need to be very much regulated. Yukta ahara, what you are eating is need to be regulated. Yukta vihara, your recreation, you are moving, outing, going out, ghumna firna, that also need to be regulated. Just because I like to roam around, every Saturday, Sunday, people are out. Because Monday to Friday they work. So every Saturday, no, some Saturdays you do and manage other things also. Then Yukta Ahara Viharasya, Yukta Karma. There are people who are workaholic. 8 hours are not sufficient. They need 16 hours of work. 16 घंटा काम करते. No, that also need to be regulated. Yukta Vihara, Yukta Karma, Yukta Swapna. Your sleeping also has to be regulated. And this is a major problem of our current youth. Minimum 10 hours of sleep. लगता है. Like I always say, they once they go into bed, it's like they waste पानी में. बाहर आने का नाम ही नहीं लेते. So this relaxation, मतलब giving rest to the body is also very, very important. And then when somebody is more than 18-year-old, 6 to 7 hours of rest is sufficient. That is sufficient for a body. You don't need more. So this particular verse tells you, Bhagavad Gita, as I said, Bhagavad Gita teaches us everything. So through this verse, Yukta Har Vihar Yukta Karma Cheshtasu, Yukta Swapnava Bodhasya Yoga Bhavati Dukkha. They say that a yogi is the one who has control over sleep, control over work, control over recreation, and control over eating. Can be free from misery. So early to bed, early to rise makes one healthy, wealthy, and wise. So relaxation is good. So physical quotient involves this. And there are so many unhealthy lifestyles, we have to say no to it. So these are all unhealthy lifestyles. Drinking, smoking, drinking, eating meat, all of this. Yeah, unhealthy lifestyle. So when you have proper relaxation, then it increases the sattva guna in your mind is peaceful. So read mind elevating wisdom literature. The first duty of a university is to teach wisdom, not trade character. Not trade character, not technicalities. So university should teach wisdom and character to a person, not just other things. They should teach other things, but not this. So that was about physical quotient. Then when it comes to EQ, as we are giving importance to physical quotient, so physical quotient, if you calculate your 24 hours, in 24 hours, 6 to 7 hours of rest, 1 2 hours of bathing and all, then remaining hour, some few hours for eating nice food, few hours for exercise. So that is in total 10 hours or 11 hours, which goes for a physical maintenance. Then the remaining time, if you're a student, if you're a working person, you need to focus on your development of your intelligence. Or you study books, study scriptures, and develop your intelligence. So you give 6 to 8 hours for that. After that, the remaining time need to be given for your relationships, your emotional needs, emotional quotient. That is very important. Just because I am a spiritualist, I don't care for emotion. No, that's not the point. We have to give importance to emotions. Or just because I am working person, that is also important. And the fourth or primemost thing is a spiritual quotient, which is missing from our life. And that's why we are not able to manage our life. So we are not self-manager. So self-manager will become a self-manager when he is fulfilling this fourth quadrant, that is spiritual quotient. In the spiritual quotient, we daily visit temples, we daily chant the holy name of Lord, we daily worship the Lord, offer our obeisances, offer prayers, is the spiritual quotient, which is very, very vital. Without spiritual quotient, all these three things are not useless. Like in a building, the base is not proper, building will collapse. Similarly, the spiritual quotient, the fourth quadrant is like a base of all these activities. And that's why that is very, very important. So through this IQ, EQ, PQ, and SQ, we can balance our life and we can become a very good self-manager. Hare Krishna. We'll stop here. Any question? What is your name?
Akash.
Akash. Hare Krishna. Yes. Santama. Anybody online has any question? Okay, so we'll stop here. Thank you very much. So, very important thing to that henceforth we'll also have more discourses on Bhagavad Gita, which there is a course called Discover Yourself course. So you all can watch this video that will be streamed. So sounds okay. Yes. So this particular session is a very nice elaborate discussion on Bhagavad Gita, points from Bhagavad Gita. This title itself is Discover Yourself. We can actually find out who am I and discover ourselves and what is my duty. And we understand the very prime most important knowledge of our life in this course. So in next Saturday onwards at the same time we are going to have this. After the event, those who are offline here, we have nice prasad also. Please have it. And those who are online, I request them next time onwards, please come for uh, offline classes. So please watch this video and then we'll stop. Proceed.
The two most important days in your life are the day you're born and the day you find out why.
Quench your quest for serenity, joy, and purpose. Session 1, Happiness on Sale. Session 2, The God Mystery. Session 3, Who's Me? Session 4, Religion on Trial. Session 5, Can Bad Happen to the Good? Session 6, Life Apps.
So you are the 6 session course and we'll have little